50.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. What
Yeah.
time is
We'll
it?
make that work. It's 4:30 now.
Oh yeah,
All
we're
right. Well,
good.
then let's.
So I mean, I can dip out and you guys can keep going like around that time or.
So Bishop, you wanted to talk a little bit more about Jedi Survivor. So
Oh yes.
tell me about that.
Uh, all right. So I'm gonna start off with I looked at the mods. I was trying to find because I seen this dude on TikTok that had multicolored lightsabers. Like he had like this one was purple, this one was orange or whatever color,
So like
and
the double sided. So like one side was purple, one side was red, or whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I could not find the mod. I didn't really see any like lightsaber manager mods like it did for Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's some cool like Darth Maul mods, Anakin robe mods, all that stuff. Anyways, I beat the game, uh, and I mean, I really don't care about the performance because it ran pretty fine, except for like some areas where it was like loading like a lot of shit at one time. Which I think was the major problem for PC was like they tried to load too many things in one scene at one time. So whatever, I don't care. Didn't bother me. Didn't have too many major things to like really bitch about. But anyways, for me, 10 out of 10 game. Uh, this game encapsulates whatever you want to call it. Everything that is Star Wars, and for a team that went from making one of like a really big groundbreaking game in Titanfall 1, pissing people off with like the campaign that was in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Then making Titanfall 2, basically saying, go fuck yourself. Here's what we can really do with an actual campaign, but we're not being rushed to put something out on a new system to have it as a release title. Great campaign in Titanfall 2. And then also, in my opinion, making one of the best Battle Royale games there are. They go to making Star Wars and basically give the middle finger to EA saying, hey, we can make a single player Star Wars game that everyone's going to love.
Mm-hmm.
The first one did amazing. It was an amazing game. Big fucking middle finger to EA. And then they come out with this, another middle finger. And as Ricky from Trailer Park Boys would say, the double whammy that he only pulls out from or for special occasions. Uh, this game is it's really really good. It was really well made. The story was amazing. Every character that came back, all the new characters fit in so well. They shown how they did a really good job of showing how like Cal and Marin and Grease and Seer and all these other people that how they've grown from the first game, and um, I'm still playing it constantly. Um, and as I said earlier, I think this could be a game of the year game. I mean, I know people are going to sort of say, "Oh, well, on PC it didn't run that great." Well, whatever, that happens.
That stuff, honestly, when it comes to game of the year, that kind of stuff doesn't really get brought up. So
Yeah,
it's
because
mostly about the actual game itself. Like The Witcher 3 had a really bad opening as well. They had
yeah,
to do a whole lot of hot fixes and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Still made game of the year.
I seen a clip from because I'd never really understood how like the development from different consoles and especially like PC and things like that work. But it was Lex Friedman, and he was talking to the guy that runs Bethesda. I can't think of his name. And he asked him something, and it was yeah,
Todd Howard, yeah.
and it was along the lines of like, how do you? Or he was like, what's like the biggest difference from like console to PC when you're making a game? And he said the biggest thing is the interface because you have mouse and keyboard instead of just using sticks and going one by one. You can just scroll around with your mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But he said the other thing is you got to think about, which is it's a major thing with or a PC gaming, is you got to think about what kind of hardware people have, what kind of monitors they have, all those different type of like little nitpicky things, I guess. Well, not nitpicky, like those things are pretty big, like your monitor, your GPU, things like that. But like other little nitpicky things in your PC itself, um, you got to think about that too. And it just like I wasn't mad about the performance because, like I said, it ran pretty good for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like all the other people that I've seen, like just review bombing the game because they have a 4090, whatever the heck, and it ran like a potato. Well, I mean, you got to think these guys are under a time crunch. They wanted to push it back again, just a couple weeks, just to smooth everything out, but they couldn't because
They
the
had
head
already
guy said no.
they had
Yeah.
already pushed it back as it was.
Mm-hmm. Um. So like, I mean, if you can get past all that on PC and like everything I've seen about console, it ran fine. But that's another thing. You're putting a game out on a console. All those consoles are the exact same. They
Right.
all have the same graphics component, all the same hard drives. Well, I guess not really all the same hard drives, but everything's basically exactly the same. It's all cookie cutter when it comes to console.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier. But then you get the PC. You got you know people with the 4090s, 3070s, 3080s, 3090s, 1660s, 1050s, whatever the
I
heck.
got the 1660, so
Yeah, you got to think about all that when you're making a PC game. So, I mean, if people can get past the fact that, like, yeah, it had a rocky start on PC, it's one of the best Star Wars games I've personally played in a very long time. Like I've played quite a few Star Wars games. I played Dark Forces back in the day. I tried playing Dark Forces 2 recently, but I got to figure out how to mod it so I can have it like upscaled to like modern GPUs and stuff like that. Because it like kind of it like this is like the only time a game has like made me sick playing it because it just ran so shitty on a newer operating system and all that. Um, I've played a lot of Star Wars things, and this by far uh, is one of the best games.
Yeah,
have you
no, you
heard
talk.
anything else about that Ubisoft Star Wars game that's supposed to be coming out?
No, the only thing I've seen about it, I mean, I did hear like little things here and there, but it was mainly just kind of like what the trailer was about. Because like the trailer of the game, it like shows like bounty hunters and troopers and this and that, and the Jedi's fighting on like the bridge at the end, I think it was, and it was basically just like things like, oh, you can do whatever you want. You can, if you want to be someone that has a store, you can do that. You can be a soldier, you can be a bounty hunter, you can be a Jedi, you can be a Sith. You can do whatever you want. So it was basically just kind of telling people what the trailer was about, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I haven't heard anything like really since, and that trailer came out a couple years ago, a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah.
Since you talked about Star Wars last week, I think I told you today, I've been on such a Star Wars kick lately. Like I binged The Mandalorian, and I'm about to
Yeah.
binge The Bad Batch.
I'm gonna try and have the Mandalorian done by the end of the weekend. When we go on,
Yeah.
when we come back, because then we can maybe talk about it then.
Yeah,
It's all right.
a lot of people were shitting on the Mandalorian.
That's what I've
like the
seen.